She thinks she's getting into a car for a simple hitchhiking trip. 7 years later, she's nicknamed the woman in the box. How did a free young woman become the invisible slave of an ordinary couple without anyone noticing? In 1956, somewhere on the vast soil of the United States, a child is born. A simple name, clear like spring water, is written on the papers. Colleen J. Stan. She opens her eyes in a country rushing full speed towards its own future. A land of endless roads, motels, and neon lights, where cars speed by like chrome comets. She doesn't know it yet, but already, behind the veil of the coming years, destiny is bending silently toward her. She grows up under the California sun. Blue skies, the smell of warm dust, pine, and gasoline. Subdivisions stretch out. Highways intersect like rivers of asphalt. Colleen is a child among others, a teenager who laughs, discovers music, freedom, and the thrill of spontaneous journeys. Nothing really sets her apart in the crowd. It's an ordinary life, woven from small gestures, homework, outings, projects that still hover in the realm of promises. The 1960s end, the 1970s rise like a wave. American youth hits the road. Hitchhiking becomes a rite of passage. You stick out your thumb along interstates, trust strangers, share a cigarette, a story, a stretch of road. Especially on the West Coast, young people let themselves be carried by this moving current. Thousands traveling light, a bag on their shoulder, a dream in mind, believing the road is an ally, not a threat. Colleen traverses these years like many others. She moves, returns, lives in California for a time, then finds herself in Eugene, Oregon, up north, where the air is wetter, the pines rise in the mist. Eugene becomes her landing point. She is now 20 years old. It's spring 1977. Her life still fits within a handful of things. Her room at her parents' house, a few clothes, vague plans, and above all, that carefree, flexible freedom that envelops the beginnings of adulthood. She is neither married nor a mother. She has no ties anchoring her to the ground. She thinks about working, moving, visiting, seeing friends. To the south, a friend awaits her in Westwood, California. A birthday, a promise of reunion amidst the Northern California hills. Between the two, hundreds of kilometers of road from Oregon to California. For Colleen, it's not a threat. It's a simple crossing, a journey like so many others that young people her age undertake. Thumb out, bag clutched close. May 19, 1977 approaches. An ordinary date on the human calendar. A volcanic date in the book of destiny. That morning, Colleen packs her bag. Few items, clothing, some personal effects, enough to travel light, enough to be ready for the unexpected. She leaves her parents' home in Eugene. The air is still fresh. She doesn't look back much. She'll return, she thinks. It's a one-way trip for a few days, not to disappear. The road awaits her. Interstate 5 runs south, its hard line, an asphalt corridor where trucks roar and cars glide. Colleen heads towards this backbone of the American West, this river of asphalt linking states and entwining destinies. She puts her thumb out. A first car stops, then another. She links segments, advances in leaps through fleeting faces. Each driver brings her closer, kilometer by kilometer, to Westwood and the promised party. Around her, the 1970s America breathes at its own rhythm. Gas stations line up their pumps, rest areas offer benches, tables, tiled bathrooms echoing footsteps. People largely still believe in the goodwill of strangers. You get into cars as you would board temporary rafts. Newspapers sometimes talk of crimes, disappearances, but these distant murmurs don't pierce the armor of trust for millions of young travelers. In Red Bluff, a small town in Tehama County, Northern California, a man has already been living for years in the shadow of his own obsessions. His name is Cameron Hooker. He was born in 1953, 3 years before Colleen. His childhood, his early years, don't make the headlines. Nothing in the police archives indicates any major convictions before 1977. For the outside world, he is an ordinary man, a face among thousands. Cameron works in a sawmill. A sawmill, as they say here. Wood is everywhere around him. Felled trunks, planks, chips. He handles blades, machines that scream. He breathes in pine and cedar dust. His hands know the weight of wood, the resistance of fibers, the way to cut, to assemble. These worker gestures, useful, become for him a secret language. Because behind the modest walls of his house, another construction is taking shape. He lives in Red Bluff with his wife, Janice. She was born in 1954 under another name, Janice Lashley. They got married in the early 1970s, young, before the world suspected what their union contained of promises and threats. They are seen as an ordinary small-town couple. A simple house, bills, grocery shopping, quick greetings to neighbors. In this house, a child cries, laughs, grows. A little girl. She is there, visible proof of a family life that, on the surface, resembles so many others. But behind the closed door, something darker aggregates, slowly, without a spark. A pact, a subterranean dynamic. Cameron, according to the words Janice will later speak in front of judges, soon begins to explore violence in its most intimate form. Bondage, domination, power games. These are not innocent games. These are exercises in control, pain, staging. Janice, a young wife, finds herself drawn in, caught in a whirlwind that she endures, suffers, accompanies. He whips her. He suspends her. Her body becomes the testing ground of a distorted desire, also nourished by images coming from outside. In the Hooker house, violent pornography circulates. Magazines pile up, shiny pages that lock in scenarios of domination, rope, constraint. Cameron consults them, keeps them. He doesn't just watch. He thinks. He imagines. The woodworker becomes an architect of fantasies. His hands, accustomed to making solid objects, start dreaming of tools designed not for work, but for control. The years pass. Janice, tired, terrorized, bends without breaking. Then, one day, Cameron proposes a deal to her. A marital agreement, it will later be called in courtrooms. He wants a sex slave. Not just a partner, a woman he can possess, use, bend to his will. In exchange, he promises, he will stop whipping Janice, suspending her, subjecting her to the worst ordeals. She, broken, exhausted, accepts. This yes, extracted in the shadows, opens a breach where the fate of an unknown will rush. The project is there now. Not a passing whim, but a plan. An objective whispering at the back of the nights. Cameron doesn't confide it to the police, nor to a doctor, nor to a confidant. He nourishes it alone, fed by violent images, by his fantasies, by this deal made with his wife. No complaint, no report disturbs this progression. The authorities know nothing. In the records, the Hooker family is an ordinary household. In fact, it becomes the scene of a crime that hasn't occurred yet, but that is already seeking its victim. In the garage, in an improvised workshop, Cameron takes boards. He measures, saws, assembles. His gestures are precise. He knows what he wants to build. It's not a piece of furniture, nor a simple box. It's a box. A wooden box, heavy, compact, that must envelop a human head like a shroud. Inside, he places padding. He thinks of sound isolation, of the muffling of sounds, of fixation. He plans a closure system. This box, simple to a layman's eyes, becomes in his mind an instrument of sensory isolation, of depersonalization, a mask of darkness intended to transform a person into a thing. On May 19, 1977, the box leaves the Hooker house. Cameron loads it into the trunk of his car. The wood scrapes against the metal. Janice watches him do it. She already knows what this gesture means. They're not going out for a simple picnic. They're going out with a project, with a clear intention. The little girl also gets into the car. Her presence, innocent, will mask to a stranger what is hidden under the metal of the trunk. In Eugene, Colleen stands on the side of the road. She has already hitchhiked several sections. She moves south towards California, towards Westwood. The sun climbs. The air warms. The miles slip by. She changes cars, again. Until the landscapes transform, the reliefs announce the approach of Northern California. This region of hills, fields, sparse forests. There, in this territory that maps name Tehama County, a name emerges like a lock. Red Bluff. The Red Bluff area is a passage zone. Secondary roads intersect with the main routes. There are gas stations, motels, rest areas where families stop to eat a sandwich by the roadside. Nothing distinguishes this place from another, yet it is here that two lives will intersect and become intertwined. Colleen is now near Red Bluff. She is waiting for a new car. She has faith. She has already covered a large part of the distance. Westwood is getting closer. She is probably thinking of her friend, the party, the smile that will greet her. She watches the cars go by, quickly assessing if they might stop. Then, a car slows down. A family. A man driving. A woman beside him. A child. The scene is simple, almost reassuring. What threat could there be in a family car? A couple. A little girl. Colleen hesitates perhaps for a moment, or maybe not. Future testimonies will only say this. She gets in. She accepts the ride. She slides her bag, sits down, closes the door. Destiny, silent until now, sits beside her. Around her, everything seems normal. The faces are polite. They talk a little. They drive. The engine hums. Colleen does not see the box. She is unaware that it is there, in the trunk, heavy, immobile, ready to strike. She does not know that behind Janice's ordinary gestures, behind Cameron's glances, lies a project already formulated, already sealed in the secrecy of their home. That day, no police are on alert. No missing person signs are printed. Colleen's parents in Eugene go about their business. They believe their daughter is on her way to a friend's, protected by the routine of the trips, and by the collective belief that these hitchhiking journeys are part of life, that they are a passage, not a cliff. The Hookers, on the other hand, drive towards their own abyss. For them, the project of having a slave is not a vague idea. It is ready. They have prepared the central tool of this project, the box, that coffin of silence waiting in the metallic shadow of the trunk. They are not improvising. They are carrying out what they have already imagined. For Colleen, this ride is just a means to arrive faster at her destination. For them, it is the realization of a dark pact sealed years earlier between a husband and a wife. On the road winding towards Red Bluff, the car continues its journey. No one outside yet knows that on this day, a young woman will irrevocably fall into the night. No police report signals a kidnapping. No newspaper yet headlines about the woman in the box. At this precise moment, the world remains silent, and the road, in its long indifference, harbors within it a secret that will soon burst forth, but too late to prevent the act. The sun slowly sets, lengthening the shadows of the trees on the asphalt. The engine heats up, the air vibrates. In the trunk, the box does not move. It waits, monstrous and mute. In front, Colleen watches the road unfold. She does not know that each yard brings her closer to the moment when that wooden lid will close over her face, when her ordinary life will shatter like glass under a hammer. She does not know that today, May 19th, 1977, the gods of chance turn away, and begins for her a drainage of which she does not yet know the depth or the duration.